I can't find the server at the moment. That'd be nice, yes. It starts off with F1 Mallorca, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm not saying it. it's working for me, buddy. I mean...
Hello everybody, welcome to round 9 at Monza for F1 Mallorca's DTM Championship. It has been just about a month since the last race, I think. I am Matt and James Reed is alongside me in the commentary box for this race.
G'day.
So we have finally got rid of the month-long break, and I should think everyone will be ready to get back to racing again.
Well, it looks like we have a bigger grid than we did for the Belgian race, I believe. I think there was about 7 people there for that one. I'm not quite sure as I was on there. Can you fill us in on what happened during the last race, Matt?
Well, off the start there was an accident at the top of Eau Rouge which took out 3 cars at least, and then from there on Fuchsia made a mistake chasing down the leader and had to fight his way back through the field. Various different incidents with a couple of cars further back, and I do believe it was Serrano that went on to claim the victory after the 22 laps round Spa. Slowly gaining on Fuchsia in the championship standings, but still a long way to go, so anything could happen yet.
Yeah, Serrano's been on a bit of a run recently since Hungary by the looks of it. So it's definitely a threat to finish his championship.
Right, I need to go and do a few things for 5 minutes, so we'll take a quick commercial break during qualifying this time, and then we should be back for the race.
qualifying concluded, we have Checo in pole position, Serrano in second, Fuchsia in third, Latifi in fourth, Herrera fifth, Salazar sixth, Aguilera seventh, Nieto eighth, and in ninth position we have Auto.
Welcome back everybody, we are in Monza for F1 Mallorca's DTM round. We have just finished qualifying and it looks like Daniel Checo will be followed by Serrano, Fuchsia, Latifi, Herrero, Salazar, Aguilera, Nieto and Porto.
Indeed, and Checo and Serrano were separated by about 1/100th in their overall qualifying time. Fuchsia was back down about 6 tenths behind, and Herrera and the rest were about a second off the pole position time set by Daniel Checo.
Some work to do then for a few drivers, but if Checo and Serrano are that close, it could be an interesting battle for the lead of this race.
For sure. Checo went out there, got pole with his first lap, and Serrano was a little slower, probably about half a second to a second off on his first lap, and just couldn't tip him off the top on his second flying lap.
We're waiting for warm-up session to finish, which is in about 3 minutes, so we've got to fill that time with some info in the meantime, such as championship is getting down to the end of the season now. There's probably about another month or two of racing, but I think the next couple of months are pretty action-packed with races, so it is certainly not going to be just 2 or 3 races left. Not sure if Daniel Checo's actually won a race this year, you know.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Ah, good.
Minute and a half to go and we can get underway. Everybody patiently waiting. A month is a long time not to go racing. I mean, when we had the week break for the GSE Championship that we broadcast, it felt like an absolute eternity between each race.
Whoa, Yes, between each of the seasons it felt like an eternity. Sometimes it's good to have that mid-season break in there, even with that 1 week. Myself personally, I was quite busy during that 1 week break, and I didn't miss the racing at all. So enjoying myself overseas.
45 seconds.
Less than a minute at this stage. You want to keep nice and calm. Little bit of the adrenaline building up, especially for a notorious first turn like at Monza here. The way these boys handled Eau Rouge and Radion last time, I wouldn't bet against there being a little bit of trouble down to turn 1. Let's hope they can all keep it clean.
Indeed.
Indeed.
I just broke the stream, completely forgot what buttons did what, and I was trying to move the camera around and showed 20 million things at once on the stream, but oh well. Either way,
But we're still running.
this is the first turn here at Monza. Not much room. It doesn't look like we've got any tyre walls in the way on the... Oh, we do have tyre walls in the way on the runoff, but they're in the form of some polystyrene boards, so not too many issues there, hopefully.
And the other issue the drivers will be facing is trying to avoid those giant red sausage curves when I'm getting through and passing down into these main passing zones.
Yeah, we did have those at the top of a Rouge in Spa as well, which is not really an ideal place for them, but that is where the race organisers decided to put them either way.
So, warm-up is now over and we're just waiting for the session to transition over to the race. Matt, did you make sure that you changed that setting from last time so you can actually hear my voice during this race?
Personnel will leave the grid now.
Yes, I did. It's because I didn't do a few things, but I've got that sorted out now.
Fantastic.
Testing,
Alright,
test,
20
test.
seconds to the test. 20 seconds to the race start. Interestingly, there's no Mercedes on the grid at all for this race.
Just the BMWs and Audis then. Daniel Checo's just got onto the grid just in time. 5 lights are on. 5 lights are off.
Good start by Latifi there, getting the jump on Fusha. Let's see how they go down into turn 1.
They want to be nice and careful here. And I think, yes we have, we've all made it through safely. Well done everybody.
It's not over yet. We have the Della Roggia chicane coming up next.
Fusha looking to challenge Latifi coming up into it.
And Checker's got a nice gap into the second chicane here.
Latifi not defending too hard, doesn't feel the need to at the minute. Two chicanes down, everyone's still going. This is better than what we had at Spa.
Yes it is. Porto was a little bit messy on that second chicane, but importantly everyone is still running good halfway through the first lap.
Oh no, Latifi!
Commentator's curse.
Did he get a helping hand from somebody there? Fusha was right behind him.
He went off in the same spot in qualifying though, in the other direction. Didn't go through the gravel track and went across the track into the barrier. Maybe he's struggling a little bit with that part of the track, but now he's dropping down into last.
Well, he just got the power on too early coming out the corner and around he went. That's going to cause a lot of damage. It was a hard hit against the wall.
We got Fagalero making a move here on Salazar down into the Parabolica. Move done.
I've been to 5th for Aguilera then.
And Salazar's now under threat from Nieto. Actually, Salazar's got a fantastic run out of that last corner. It's going to be side by side down into turn 1. Salazar might even get him before the braking zone.
I think he has done. does indeed.
Gets it slowed down just in time for the second apex. Balaguer's in trouble now, and Nieto's all over back in.
Sparks flying as well. Cars are definitely running very low to the ground here.
And Latifi's just exiting the pits after his repair. It's going to be a long, long afternoon to him.
Oh, that's Nieto just spun it in the
Oh, and
BMW.
Porto spun in sympathy as well.
Oh yeah, thought better of going across that curve there. I thought he was about to drive straight over the top of it then.
Okay, we got Fusha and Max Serrano here going down into Ascari. Two championship contenders. Fusha's on the inside. Little bit of bumping, little bit of rubbing. Still side by side.
Oh no, Serrano!
Serrano!
Did he keep it going? He's kept it going. How much damage has that done to the front of the car though? We had such a clean first lap and now we've lost 3 cars on this second one to various different incidents. Serrano, will he be pitting after that?
He's keeping it tight inside line. He might be. Serrano going to be very unhappy with Fusha's driving there.
Into the pits he comes in. Wonder if he'll be able to make anything of it with a different pit strategy to everybody else now. Or will he stick with what he had in mind before we got started? He's away.
Latifi just coming out of Parabolica just to demonstrate how much time he's lost.
Still a long way back from Serrano. So Checker is still leading this race by 5 seconds from Fusha now. I have to apologise because the UI is not giving me any info to do with gaps at all.
Closest battle we have on track is actually, I believe...
Aguilera?
Yep, Aguilera and Salazar.
End of lap 3. What sort of lap times is everybody running at the minute? Checker is about a second quicker a lap than anybody else right now. And then you've got Fusha and Herrero. Herrero silently made his way up into third actually, I didn't notice that. They're doing 145s, 146s for the next 2 cars, these two. And then we've got a 54, 55 and a 48 for those that are having various different incidents, as Aguilera is looking to challenge into turn 1 here. Ooh, Salazar moving across in the braking zone.
Checker was over a second faster on that last lap, let alone running a 43.3 with Fusha and Herrero both running the 44s. And
Spinning it in the same place as last lap. In fact, it was Porto that spun it last lap, wasn't it?
yeah, it's both
Oh!
cars and Nieto.
Oh, Porto! Did he make it through? Porto spun as well.
Very difficult part of the track there. Serrano's the next man to deal with that corner. He's through safely. Tiki's through safely.
Porto's retired. Not sure when that happened. But Serrano, this is gonna hurt his championship quite badly, down in 8th at the minute. Fusha not able to get anywhere near Checker's front running pace at the minute though. Fusha losing another 1.3 on that last lap.
That's interesting because last flying laps we had Daniel Checker with the 143.6 and Danny Fusha with the 143.7. Could have been 1.3.
Yeah, I'm looking at the best lap, not the last lap. Strange system they've got. It doesn't actually show what the last lap is, you gotta guess.
Herrero all out of shape into the first Lesmo. That's going to lose all the time he just gained on Fusha there. That could have been an interesting battle developing, but now he's dropped back by about 3 seconds.
Let's see what his second sector is going to be then. Should be coming up to it any minute now.
Just exited the Ascari. Should have passed through that timing big heat already.
Wait for the low timing to update, if it feels like doing so in this lap at all. Checker pushing the limits of what he's capable of, doing a 142.9 fastest lap now.
Fusha that time ran 143.7. Checker has this race under control at this point. Might be going for a shorter first stint though. Not sure what's happening strategy-wise here.
I would say we're going for the usual 2 stops. It all depends on what tyres can do though. And the brakes for that matter.
Yeah, the brakes are the big issue here at Monza. Those really 2 heavy braking zones, followed by some pretty hefty other braking zones down into Ascari and Parabolica. Tyres should be relatively fine here. They don't need to work too much through these slower speed mechanical grip type of corners.
So lap 6 of 27. Still a long way to go in this race, 22 laps, 21 laps. And at the minute it is Checker pulling away from Fusha. Herrero up there in 3rd, but dropping back from Fusha now. Nearly 5 seconds I should say. Got a yellow flag.
Porto has spun at the Villaroya chicane again, and Latifi's actually just passed him by, so Latifi up a position there. Just going to make the comment that you suggested one of the drivers retired before, but all 9 drivers are still running here after 5 laps, and Latifi's lost on the exit of the second Lesmo again. This week Porto arrived down into the Ascari chicane. Excuse me.
Is Porto able to challenge?
Too far back.
And oh, that didn't look like the ideal line through there either. Live timing is 2 laps behind for me, so I've got no idea what's going on.
Fantastic. I was just going to suggest that Serrano is probably nursing some damage from that earlier incident, as he is a second behind Fusha per lap at this stage, and over 2 seconds slower than Checker's fastest lap. So Serrano having a really poor race after that little incident there with Fusha.
There's only so much you can repair whilst you're sat in the garage as well. You can hammer things back into where they're supposed to be, but it's not going to be perfect. Six laps completed. Fusha just losing another 0.3 seconds to Checker this last lap.
Matt, do you have any idea what the pit stop times are around this track here? Very short pit lane, very fast entry, quick pit stop time to DTM. How much time do you think they'll be losing in the pits? About 10 or 15 seconds? Porto's going to cross the gravel in the Ascari chicane. Sorry for interrupting.
Serrano, I think when he came in to do that stop after he had that contact, it was about 30 or so seconds, so say he had to repair damage, probably 20-25 seconds perhaps.
So, interesting things happening out on track. We've got Serrano lapping a second faster than Nieto in 6th. So, in about 10 laps time, maybe 8 laps time, look out for... Oh, sorry, we've just had Aguilera spin in the Curva del Voglia. That's given Nieto 5th place.
We have indeed, and Serrano's not too far behind him now either. Let's close the gap up to probably about a second or two. There's another yellow flag out there as well, because Porto's spun it there now. I wonder if someone's dropped some fluid down there. Everyone seems to be spinning it every lap.
I'm thinking Porto and some of the others may have not set their brakes up properly, whether it's a brake bias problem or even something that could develop into a brake temperature problem later, which would be much more of a problem.
Well, if it's a brake bias problem, they can try and rectify it from the car. If it's something other than that, then they're going to have issues. Of course, we saw in Hungary one of the drivers didn't tape the radiator tape off and ended up overheating the engine.
Was it the engine or the brakes?
I think it was the engine. Although, actually no, because brakes did fail as well, didn't they, for Valiante, I think it was.
I believe you're right there. He was challenging for the win at one point there.
Yes, indeed, and then he just seemed to drop back.
Okay, we have Serrano within the second coming up to the Curva del Voglia as they go through the Curva Grande at the moment. Closest battle on track is these two running.
Bit too far back into this next chicane. I'd be looking out for a run down the start finish straight. Oh no, that's not going to happen.
Spinned it there. There is something going on. It's going to be a bump in the track or a little bit of oil, as you said. There's been far too many spins for it to be something normal.
He's got to watch out for Latifi as well.
Another driver who's nursing a bit of damage, getting a little bit hairy out of the first Lesmo. See what he can do out of the second Lesmo. Right on the back end. This is going to be interesting down into the Ascari. He should have more momentum. Here comes Moody, he pulls alongside.
Good run out that corner. I think he may well be passed before we get to the braking zone, not quite. Does get the move made. So a horrible race for Serrano here. Things just aren't going his way after that contact with Fuchsia. Herrero has jumped into first because I do believe we've got Fuchsia pitting. And I think Checker has just done so as well.
Yeah, Checker would have needed to pit it as well. In fact, he hasn't registered a time that time, as he has been in the pits. He's right on the back of Salazar though, so that gives you an indication of how close they were.
Not sure if it's just the car, but it looks like Checker's got the rear suspension quite a long way down.
It may just be the way the game is portraying the car. I've noticed in other leagues, like FSR for example, it looks like the rear end of the car is stuck onto the ground and the front suspension is in the air. Obviously not the way you want to run an F1 car.
Not particularly. Won't be going anywhere fast with that, but Checker wants to be getting past Salazar fairly quickly. because Fuchsia behind him. Sorry.
I was going to say, Serrano's still stuck with Hadden and Latifi as they come through the second Lesmo. He's going to have a run down into the Ascari this time.
If Fuchsia's got some clear air at the minute, whereas Checker's stuck up behind Salazar, who is probably a couple seconds slower in lap time than these guys are.
Might be coming to the pits this time because he's keeping a bit of a tight line. And indeed he does. So Checker now in free air himself. And he resumes the lead as Herrera is also pitted. Oh! Side by side in the pit lane.
That's an unsafe release there.
Luckily, I don't think they get punished for that in this league here. So Herrera, lucky not to get a penalty for that. Fortunately enough, this pit lane is wide enough that you can run side by side.
Salazar off on his way then. It's going to be total of about 35 seconds in the pit lane. 34.9, close enough.
Okay, here's another battle to watch out for. Serrano, who was just less than a second behind Latifi, has pitted. Latifi's actually carried on, so we'll have to see where they sort each other out after their pit stops.
Here comes there's Porto going, Aguilera even going through past Serrano. Porto is pitted.
And I think Aguilera and Serrano, those positions are correct because Serrano lost the position to Aguilera with his little spin there, I believe.
Aguilera 7th, Serrano 8th, yeah.
Ooh, Aguilera. He re-added that second apex there.
He's got...
Go ahead.
I was going to say he's got Serrano looking to hunt him down.
Couple of interesting things here. Latifi should pop out if he's put in a good lap time right between the middle of these two, so we have a three-way battle. Also, Salazar, who's holding up Checker arguably there during that pit stop round, is 36 seconds behind on track. So that's how long we're looking for a pit stop here, potentially.
Latifi's just driven into pit lane as well, so where is he going to appear? There goes Nieto. Here comes Serrano.
He's going to lose the spot since he's just left his box now.
He's going to be stuck at 75 whilst everyone's at 200. Bit of work to do then for Latifi.
You have to say it's been a fairly flawless ride from Daniel Checker up the front at the moment. Not a single foot or tyre for that. Or tyre for that fact has been put out of line.
Not even at the halfway point yet though. Certainly has been a good drive so far. Hopefully he can continue it for the rest of the race.
Serrano, who we thought would be strong there, is only just slowly making inroads onto Aguilera's 6th position. So Serrano's still struggling down back in 7th. Oh, and as I say that, Aguilera's gone.
Yep. Whoa, it's going in the wall. No, it's not. Oh, it was right on the racing lane.
Racing line.
That was lucky there. He managed to somehow keep that out of like 3 walls in one accident.
Yeah, and Latifi lucky that he pulled a little bit to the inside there and didn't run wide with the Ascari, as many drivers like to do, because that could have been a very big incident. Well, that's put Serrano out of the dirty air then. He might have a bit of a chance to make some inroads into Nieto. Let's see what their pace is like in the next coming laps. Serrano was a 145.3 that last lap, and Nieto was a 144.9, so 2 tenths faster than Serrano.
Has Nieto made his stop yet? He hasn't he?
I think everyone's made their first stop at this stage of the race.
15 laps to go. 14 laps to go.
Another interesting battle we might have as Nieto runs a little bit wide to the second last moment is if Nieto keeps up his current pace, he could be catching up to the back of Salazar, could be having another battle there for fourth.
Yeah, he's only 10 seconds behind, and he was a good 0.2 seconds quicker the last lap. In fact, maybe a bit more actually. Fuchsia not able to stay with Checker, slowly dropping back a couple of tenths a lap. Then he's got a 7-second cushion back to Herrero, who is currently filling the final podium position. I don't think Herrero has actually finished on the podium this season, unless he may have pulled one off at Spa actually.
Regardless of that fact, it's been a fairly strong drive from Herrera at the moment as well, and all of the top three. They're all kind of running their own race at a slightly different pace from each other, but all in a safe position. They just need to keep it on the black stuff.
Yeah, Herrero seems to just silently make his way up to third really. Obviously helped by the fact that Serrano had his off and there's a few spins along the way, but Herrero's still doing a good job.
I believe Herrero did qualify, I think, 4th or 5th, so he wasn't really too far out of position for this race anyway.
So just looking at the number of stops everyone has done so far, top 3 have done one. 4, 5 and 6 seem to have done a stop as well, so that was probably about lap 10, lap 12, so another 6 laps or so I think we might be seeing the second round of stops.
Before then, though, we're going to see Checker starting to lap some people, as he's probably about 5 seconds or 5 to 10 seconds behind Porto on track now. So Porto's just entering the curve at Rogia. Checker is entering the chicane now himself, and by curve at Rogia, I mean Variante del Rogia. I'm getting that curve name wrong.
Just gone past the halfway mark now actually. And Latifi, he's had a purple interval, not sure what that means. Does that mean he's catching Serrano?
Possibly he might. His last lap was a 43.9, which is actually quite the fast pace, and he's been running 44s for most of the race. Another point I was going to make out is Serrano has caught up 2 seconds on Nieto, so that battle will be commencing quite shortly in the next couple of laps. I think that was about 2 seconds and 2 laps there.
Serrano on a charge then. But unfortunately, it's not a charge for where he wants to be, and this is all the time he's back here, not picking up points. Fuchsia's only second at the minute, but he'll be happy enough to get some sort of margin over Serrano, who doesn't make a mistake.
I think it was just the server playing up a bit there.
5.555 between Serrano and Nieto.
The gap coming down a second a lap. Oh, and Porto has spun in front of Daniel Checker, and Daniel Checker's needed to go through all of the angry little sausage curves there in the Variante della Roglia, but he is now a lap down.
Just watching a replay of that now. Same old spin for Porto there. Checker realising early that he's going to have to avoid that corner.
Gap for Serrano now down to 4 seconds. This gap is closing at over a second a lap by the looks of it, as Serrano puts in his fastest lap on that last lap of 1:43.8. Still over a second slower than Checker's fastest lap at the front. And just remember, these two qualified within 100th of each other.
Serrano's probably sporting a bit of damage, but he's still managing to catch cars in front, so it can't be that much. Serrano with the purple interval, I am pretty sure that means they're catching the other driver.
Latifi losing a little bit of ground on Serrano here, but still gaining time on Nieto and on Salazar, so we could have both 6th and 7th challenging for 4th and 5th in the second half of this race here, as we have now actually passed the halfway point in this race.
We have indeed. It's only about 17 seconds to get to 4th from Latifi. 13 for Serrano, who is apparently like 71,582 seconds behind according to the graphics.
Oh, that was also happening with the GSC, with the on board, the live timing was not working correctly there as well.
Oh, wasn't it?
So that's something we may want to investigate, yes.
We've got a completely new build of the UI, so yeah.
I was watching a replay back yesterday and noticed that there was that 71,000 etc problem also happening.
Interesting. Try and get that sorted out for the next couple of races.
Serrano's gap down to just 3 seconds. This gap is closed rapidly here, and Latifi's coming with him, maintaining his 7-second gap. So we know what's happening here. Nieto's failed to make any inroads in on Salazar, who's been maintaining that 11-second gap. It was 10 a couple of laps ago. Fuchsia still 8 seconds behind Checker. That gap is not increasing or decreasing. Herrera is still 15 seconds behind Checker, so there's about a 7-second gap there to Fuchsia. Again, that gap is neither increasing or decreasing. So Checker and Fuchsia can probably make a pit stop and get out ahead of Salazar in 4th and maintain their top 3 position. Herrera at this stage might come into a bit of traffic depending on when the others pit. Aguilera and Porto.
Aguilera's pitted.
And looks as though Aguilera is sporting a lot of damage at the front of that vehicle there. Might go back and investigate that.
No, never mind, I thought Serrano had gotten a TP, but I was looking at... No, he has gotten a TP. No, he hasn't. It's Nieto he's chasing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, he is. Latifi's coming with him, though. He's got that gap down to 6 seconds. Aguilera has gone off down in the Parabolica. Watching it now, he gets on the brakes, and the brakes don't seem to do much. He's gone straight through the gravel, into the wall, and off comes his front bonnet. Of course, the cars don't have a rear bonnet, they just have a front one. And that has allowed Porto to get up into 8th position. The man who's been struggling down at the Variante della Roglia all race long.
Well, you were saying brakes could be an issue, because Aguilera is one of the guys that spun quite a bit down at the second chicane.
Well, actually, as I say that, Porto's made a mistake somewhere in that lap, and Aguilera's got back past. So there's an interesting battle down here to finish not last between Aguilera and Porto.
Checker and Fuchsia pitting. Oh, Latifi, I think that is, has spun it and retired.
Indeed he has. Arfax is telling me that he has suspension damage.
Looks like he's coming out the second Lesmo. Yep, straight into the wall on the inside. Quite a hefty whack to the front of the car. Probably broke the radiator, and he'll be going no further.
That incident you're seeing there is identical to the crash he had in our qualifying. So Latifi obviously having a lot of trouble with that second Lesmo all throughout the race, especially on lap 1 when he also, I believe, went off into the gravel trap and did some damage.
Now this is interesting. Serrano and Nieto pitting at the same time. See what Nieto can do. Will he get out ahead of Serrano? Or will Serrano take the place? Oh, this is going to be close. Serrano can't get the power down.
Still. But he's close enough to make a move down into turn 1 perhaps. Things better off, but Nieto's gone a little deep. Serrano should have a group on here down into the Variante della Loggia. Let's see what he can do down into his second chicane. So he enters the Curva Grande. Serrano all the way back Nieto. Possibly a little bit too far back, but he's got the slipstream. Pulls out alongside. Now it's the best of the braking.
And if anyone can keep it in a straight line, Nieto jumping across the curb on the inside. So open place for Serrano as Herrera is pitting. Herrero, I should say, sorry.
That was a long time coming there for Serrano.
I think Herrero has actually gained a bit of time on Fuchsia through the stops, actually.
Yeah, I think you're right there as well. Checa has now lapped both Porto and Aguilera, who are still probably within a second on track, so it's still an interesting battle for what is now 7th and 8th. Only 0.7 separates them.
So, yeah, 4th and 5th going to be closest battle, although Serrano's 35 seconds behind. Oh, there's some Herrero, and I think that maybe Porto off at second chicane again.
It is Porto once again. Regardless of that, I think Herrero is actually a lot closer to Fuchsia, as you're saying. The gap is only now 4 seconds, so he's getting about 3 seconds of that pit stop phase there. And Fuchsia's also lost out about a second and a half on Checa's lead there.
Checa still yet to put a foot wrong in this race with just 8 laps to go.
Nieto losing a little bit of time with Serrano, but Serrano's not getting away too quickly. Gap at 1.5 seconds. As I say that, Nieto's spun it in the chicane. So there goes that gap and that chance of getting back. Jordi Serrano. Okay, next interesting thing to happen on track is when is Fer Salazar going to pit? Because this will introduce the battle between Serrano and Salazar.
Indeed it will. He's got, I think he may have just a second or so over Serrano as he does come into pit lane now. This is going to be a short stop, not very many laps left. Where's Serrano then, just coming out the final chicane on the run down to Parabolica. No sign of Serrano just yet. Salazar needs to be leaving his box about now, because here comes Serrano.
Yeah, exiting, and very long pit stop for Salazar here.
It is
Must
indeed.
Be trouble in the pits.
He's lost his position to Nieto now as well then. It's down to 7th for Salazar. Or 6th, sorry. Aguilera just coming up to the final chicane now.
Salazar still stuck in the pits.
So Salazar watching his race go down the drain in this final pit stop of the race. Been in there over a minute now.
I'm not sure I can hear an engine. Maybe he stole it here.
He's just
I
retired.
think he has. Oh, he's run out of fuel in the pits. Apparently.
Interesting.
Maybe they didn't bring enough fuel to the race meeting. Not sure how you do that one. But the game is telling me that Salazar has run out of fuel in the pits.
That's a shame then, because that was shaping up to be a good battle for 5th there. Serrano up into 4th now then. So I think we have pretty much got race order finalised with just 5 laps or so to go. Although Herrero, I think he might be catching Fuchsia. He was certainly quicker that last lap. Well, the gap's 4.1 or so. 3.8 now.
And yes, so Salazar very, very, very unhappy with his retirement there.
This is interesting because we've got Herrero and Fuchsia in the same camera shot now, so wow. I thought Herrero was about to go around. So Fuchsia perhaps losing quite a bit of time behind the 7th placed Porto. Good battle shaping up between these two then. Although the gap's gone back up to 4.3 now.
My sources might be wrong, but my pit lane reporter has told me that I believe Salazar was about 20 meters short of making his actual pit box. So therein lies our issue with the fuel, I think.
20 meters, wow.
I mean, at that point, you probably get out of the car and start pushing it yourself, don't you?
Well, yeah, I mean, the mechanic should have pushed him really, because it's not like he was outside of the actual pit area. That's like halfway in the box. But hey-ho, Salazar was probably a couple short shifts away from making that.
Racing is a game of management as much as it is a game of speed.
I'm thinking Herrero can catch Fuchsia, but he's not really making that much of an inroad these last couple of laps.
These two drivers have been fairly consistent all race long, so Herrera is going to need to up that pace. Can't really be expecting a mistake from Fuchsia here. That's all top 3 drivers have really had more or less a flawless race.
Now, interesting thing is, Herrero pitted quite a couple of laps after Fuchsia did, so he's going to have the fresher tyres as we get into these final 4 laps.
He absolutely is, and those fresher tyres are going to have less load on them because there's less weight, less fuel. Gap to 3.8 this time round. Herrero slowly making some inroads here. He's only got 4 laps though to make up these more or less 4 seconds.
Yeah, 4 seconds at just a couple tenths a lap is quite a big margin. It was 0.3 seconds quicker that last lap.
Also, did I hear you saying correctly earlier that Checker has never won a race this season?
I could be wrong, but that's what I'm thinking.
Certainly put in a stellar performance so far to take his first win. This gap is further decreasing here. Fusha maybe in a little bit of trouble. Maybe he's managed his tyres wrong, maybe he's a little bit low on the fuel, but whatever it is, Herrero seems to be closing that gap right now.
Just going to find out if Checker has actually won a race. 0.7 between Herrero and Fusha. It looks a lot less than that on camera though. So let's have a look then. Daniel Checker has, he's actually won one race. Let's see what race that was. It was at Silverstone actually.
And I was not helping out with this championship at this stage there.
No. He was second in fact, Checker's only finished 2 races, where he's won one and finished second in the other.
No, that's a pretty good record. Okay, gap now at exactly 3 seconds between Herrero and Fusha. 3 laps to go. It's gaining maybe about half a second a lap here. It doesn't look like he's going to quite be able to do it unless Fusha is really struggling. Fusha has lost about 2 seconds on Checker since the pit stops. Whereas Herrero has been running at a pace where he's gained about 2 seconds on Checker during that last round of pit stops. Checker possibly taking it easy now with the 10-second gap. Gap now less than 3 seconds.
Herrero can taste this second place, you know.
Fusha has all to lose here. Herrero can go home a hero, as it looked like Fusha was a little bit sloppy on that entry to the Parabolta there.
Porto off track in second chicane yet again.
This gap has got to be less than 2 seconds this time around.
Herrero fastest lap 142.9. So Herrero is on an absolute charge right now.
And that was a stonker of a lap right there. That...
I have to say, driver of the day's got to go to Herrero.
You wouldn't believe it, but Herrero's fastest lap is only 1,000th faster than Daniel Checker's. 1,000th. That's the pace that Checker's been running at this race.
Herrero getting that late on in a stint as well. Obviously not as much fuel, but tyres probably not as fresh. Oh, Herrero, no!
No. Oh.
Oh, Herrero's going to be so disappointed.
Day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, you can't be too disappointed with this. Aside from that little spin, that's been a pretty faultless drive, and on a real charge there, he's got the fastest lap. He's gonna come in third unless he's broken the car. Can't be too disappointed, but you'll be a little bit frustrated that he missed that chance.
I don't think he hit the wall too hard, but I think we've got our race results pretty much finalised now then. And I've just realised that we've hit over 11,300 viewers in total in a lifetime of streaming these leagues.
Fantastic.
Final lap then. Herrero is red on the timing screens, even though he is still running around. Not sure what that means.
Watching Checker now, he's taking it very easily in this last lap here. Very long, slow down shifts into each of these corners. Really just nursing the car home. Not that he has any problem, he's just got enough time that he can relax and enjoy this final lap here.
Good drive from Checker, not put anything wrong. And to be fair, driving standards have been pretty good today. We've not had anyone caught in any major accidents, unlike we saw at Spa and Hungary.
And Czech has almost been unstoppable today. I mean, aside from Herrera taking that fastest lap just in that last lap there, he's taken the pole, he's taken the win, and he's almost had the fastest lap.
Not quite managing to lead it every lap, but I'll not take anything away from him for that. Around the final corner he comes. 27 laps here at Monza are just about to come to a close. And they do so now. That was a quick race actually, 47 minutes for Daniel Checker to take the victory.
Monza always is a quick race. Fusha finishing 10.3 seconds behind. And how much time did Herrera lose in the end? Looks like he lost about 12 seconds to Fusha at the end of that spin. As Herrera comes across the line 13 seconds behind.
Serrano going to pick up 4th. It's not the result he wanted, but it minimises the damage to Fusha.
And after the day he's had, I'm sure he can look at 4th and think, it could have been worse.
Aguilera is a lap down behind. It's Nieto that's behind Serrano.
Yep, but he'll be finishing across the line this time, so Aguilera is going to come across the line to take 6th. Porto also entering the last turn. Serrano just coming out of the Parabolica. So Aguilera takes 6th. Serrano is coming across the line now. He will take 4th. Next across the line will be Porto in 7th. And then we're just waiting for Nieto to finish off the race.
Just coming around the
Through
final
the
corner.
last turn.
So that is going to be a couple more points gained for Fusha as he extends his championship lead up to getting on for 30 points now, I should think. With just 1, 2, 3, 4 races to go, 100 points left up for grabs.
Yeah, not a bad race that one. Quite a few interesting battles there. A lot of spins into that second chicane, the Variante dell'Olio. But yeah, lots of interesting things happening outside of the top 3 there, with Serrano having his early battle with Fusha and having to battle his way back through to 4th. And then we also had Serrano and Nieto, who, after a mistake, we lost more of that battle there. We had battles between Aguilera, Porto, Salazar. Everyone was in there at one point doing something interesting.
Yeah, we didn't even have anyone run into each other particularly badly. Fusha and Serrano making a bit of contact, and that was about it. And that just about rounds it off here in Monza. Next race will be at Singapore, which will be pretty interesting.
For sure it will. I've done a little bit of running in the DTM cars around that track myself, and I'll let you know that that Singapore sling is going to possibly cause a lot of incidents in that next race. Very, very bumpy section, very hard to navigate, so it's going to be a very difficult track, and I really suspect a high attrition rate for that circuit. Make sure you come well prepared.
I think we only had, I think it's 3 finishes last season, so yeah, pretty sure we'll probably have the same again, judging by the amount of retirements we've had across the season so far. But we shall wrap things up here in Italy. That was certainly a better race than what we had at Spa, a bit more action going on. And we will of course see everybody at Singapore in a couple of weeks' time.
And when might that next race actually take place?
That next race will be, I do believe, probably about the 14th of September.
Right, so we'll be back here in a fortnight's time then.
I'll just double check. 15th September, 1 day off. Either way, it'll be 2 weeks' time for that then.
Fantastic. Alright then, I hope you enjoyed this race very much. I found it quite entertaining myself. And that's about all from me, if you'd like to sign this one off, Matt.
Yep, so thanks for joining us here in Monza. That is the getting into the closing stages of the season now. 4 races left, and it was a win for Checker as he got his 3rd finish of the season, 2nd win of the season as well. Pusha extending his lead to getting on for 30 points in the championship now. And we shall see you all in Singapore in 2 weeks' time.